All right, what's up, everybody? We are now looking at yet another Creality printer. And this one I'm actually pretty excited for because I think this one's going to go to Krista once it's done. The box looks the same, but it's a little larger. So she's heavy. So if you guys are not familiar, this is the K1 Max. This is in the K series of printers. The K2 Plus is expected to be out in September, so we still got a couple more months. But we're taking a look at the K1 Max. It is a popular machine. We got stuff we want to do for it. And that means we have every single K series printer they have come out with. So the K1, the K1Cs, and the K1 Max. So I like my K1. The K1C, I got to figure out where we're going to put it. But it's sitting on the floor right now. I've got a lot of printers that need to be put into their homes. I am also, right now, actually, the parts for my Enter 5 Plus Mercury 1 builder printing. Tori actually gave me the idea to do, I literally, hang on. I have parts printed already, but we're not going to use any of these parts because I'm going to do a two-tone. I'm going to put the AMS to work on our X1 carbon here. And I'm going to do a two-tone with our carbon fiber ASA and our Raveberry ABS. So do a black and blue two-tone. That printer right there in the enclosure, that's what we're going to be converting. So there's going to be a lot more printer build videos and not just unboxings coming up because we're going to be working on a lot of that stuff. And also just a sneak peek. How many in chat, Tor, I know you know what this is. How many in chat know what this little board might be for? Because this is for a new product that we're working on. But I'm not going to tell you what. This is all I'm going to show you. It's a new product. It's just a circuit board for it. But got some new things coming up, including the Mercury
One. We were pinning things, or we were tracing pins earlier.
Yep. Making sure all the I/O pins are mapped out. Yeah, so I'll be doing firmware work probably tomorrow. But for right now, we're gonna unbox K1 Max. This printer was purchased just like every other K series Creality. I don't think Creality sent us. I don't think Creality's ever sent us a printer for review, have they?
I don't remember them sending any.
No, I think Solvo might have sent us one back in the day. We've gotten stuff from TiVo and Anycubic. It's been a bit. So these printers are purchased by us, and even if we did get it for free to do a review, it doesn't change how tough or light we are on it. So probably why we don't. Yes, probably why a lot of companies don't give us machines, because they want glowing reviews where you're overly enthusiastic about every little thing with the printer and gloss over the stuff that are that it's negative, because they don't want stuff that hurts sales potentially. Me, on the other hand, I would rather give you guys the actual absolute truth of the machine, so you guys aren't wasting your money on garbage. So luckily, a lot of the printers from Creality have been, I would say pretty damn close to home runs. Even their cheaper ones, I've been very happy with. So um, let's see if the K1 Max is the same. The K1 Max was not plagued with the original K1 extruder issues that the K1s had. Early K1 models had issues with the extruder. I had one of them. Creality did replace the affected extruders, so I can't really complain. But just something to be aware of. If you have an early K1 series, not the K1C, but the early K1, the smaller version, and you're having issues with the extruder disengaging or just failing to feed, you might have an older version. And if you contact Creality, depending on how close you are to purchase, they should send you a new extruder. And even if they don't, I think it's like a $20 part. It's not crazy. So, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. So this is brand new. I actually picked this one up in person from Micro Center. So this one I purchased in person. I think I paid like 800 something for it. I think they're right around $900 to $1,000. So given the build volume on this is bigger than anything Bamboo has. So people that are thinking about a printer that's fully enclosed, that looks slick, this is probably gonna be a good option for you guys, especially if you do not need multicolor, because that's the only thing the K1 series doesn't have right now is multicolor support. So if you're like me that prints a lot of stuff in single color, like most people, and multicolor is kind of a novelty, this is probably a really good bang for the buck at under $1,000 for a 300 by 300 by 300 fully enclosed Core XY machine. And unlike Bamboo, Creality actually gives you the options to modify the firmware. You can take their Creality cloud crap off there, which I've done to my K1. I'm going to be doing that to my K1C as well. And they don't void your warranty for it because you want to take over the software on your printer, so your device is your device and not something that's reporting data back to their cloud crap. So yeah, let me see.
You don't need 30 pages to get through it either.
I know, right? I mean, honestly, I'm very glad that Creality has been improving. I was a little worried that they would kind of like fizzle out, but I'm glad to see that they've kept up with the market trends. They've kept up with what customers are wanting, because honestly, like, Bamboo is the Apple of the 3D printing world, and I fucking hate Apple. I hate Apple. Why? Because they're anti-right to repair. They lock their stuff down. They make it very hard for you to do stuff with your device, even repair it yourself. Bamboo is almost as bad as that. So yeah, that's why I only have one Bamboo printer. If you notice, Tor and I, we literally just have one. They print great, but it's not like, oh my God, I love these machines so much, I'm going to buy a whole fleet of them. No, yeah. It's, they work great and they have their use case. If you're somebody that cares about being able to repair and tinker with your machines, I would definitely not recommend Bamboos. If you're somebody that doesn't care and you just want an appliance, then, they're great for that. But I think, myself, along with a lot of people that watch our channel and consume our content, you guys are probably more on the DIY side. And at the very least, you want the option to tinker with it. Maybe you want to change the hot end out. Maybe you want to change the thermistor out, the extruder. You want to improve on the machine. You can't do much with the Bamboos. The closest you can get is swapping out parts, and the parts you swap out have to basically be as close to the OEM part as possible, because you can't make any firmware changes at all. So
if you can even get non-OEM parts for whatever you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's,
we have hot ends for the Bamboos, but they use the same parts for the thermistor and the heater as the OEM parts. So, we can't put a higher temp in there. We were just talking about this too, because a lot of these other companies where, they're selling like these like red V3 hot ends for the Bamboos, which are actually worse than the stock hot end in terms of how they perform. They advertise like a super high temperature, but the funny thing is you can't get to that high temperature because the software's locked down.
Like, yeah, that's neat. It can go up to 500C. You're never going to hit that on a Bamboo unless you put it in like one of the few off-brand mounts or custom mounts on some other printer, but then you could just get a good hot end for that printer.
I mean, basically the way the market's going is you're going to have all these printers from Creality and stuff that are decent out of the box. You can do a little bit of modifying and tweaking and tuning. But if you're someone that really wants to DIY, doesn't mind building stuff, you're going to have to run stuff, like the Vorons or the Rat Rigs, these big DIY kits, which take a lot of time to build. But the benefit is you can repair them and upgrade them without any issues. Whereas the whole market, especially on the consumer side, these are all going towards more proprietary parts. So I will say that on the K1 series, they're great printers out of the box. The software is okay. It works. It prints fast. It prints clean. However, when it comes time to replace breakout boards, so on all these printers, the K1, the K1C, the K1 Max, I'm assuming the K2 is going to be the same way. Even the Ender 3 V3 series, the SE, the KE, and the regular V3, the Bamboos, all these printers are now going to proprietary, what they call tool head boards or daughter boards. So, for example, just in the K1, you have a full control board in the print head, you have a full control board in your bed, and then you have the main control board in the bottom of the machine that runs everything. Versus previous printers, you just have one control board with wires going from that control board to the components like the motors, the heaters, the thermistors, the lights that they had, and that kind of stuff. The problem with this is since they're using exclusive parts only for those models, when those parts die, and you can't get them anymore, you basically are left in a position where you're going to have to completely retrofit the printer by either bypassing that board, taking it out, rerunning wires all the way back to the control board, changing the control board, or hoping a third-party company made a drop-in replacement. So there are drawbacks to these printers. Yes, they look pretty, they're nice, they run fast. However, longevity-wise, I really doubt you're going to be able to find parts for them, because if the manufacturer is the only ones making them and they discontinue these parts in a couple of years, if the board dies, because they are using really cheap processors on them, Creality's using the Gigadevice processor, which are STM32 knockoffs. The Bamboo printers are using the Gigadevice processors, which again are STM32 knockoffs. They're just not that great of chips compared to the ones that they're copying. Doesn't mean they don't work, but again, longevity wise, they're probably not going to last as long as other chips. So it's good for them because you're going to have to buy a new printer every 2 to 3 years, depending on if yours dies or not. And if you can get the parts. If you can't get the parts, we're going to have a lot of printers going to the landfill.
Bamboo already set a date for their firmware support on their printers.
Yeah, at least these
canceled out stopped a lot sooner than their firmware updates.
Yeah, I'm looking to see. Someone asked about if there's a date code on here.
Yeah. See what revision you have.
So this just says K1 Max. I have a batch number, and this says 2403090203. So maybe March 9th, 2024. I don't know their date codes. But there's a 24 and a 3 and a 9. Could be March 9th, 2024. This was made. I picked this up, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I want to say. Wasn't that long. But anyways, I will stop blabbering. And we're going to, actually, what we're going to do here is I'm going to unbox this on the floor since this is so damn big. Because here, look at, this is my camera here. And this is how damn close it is. So, all right. I'm going to put this on the floor. I'm going to bring the printer up. All right. Let's see. So I see people saying there's different versions. I'm not aware of what versions of the K1 Max they have. Like there were versions of the K1. I have not seen any sort of like, these are the revision specs for the...
If it's the third revision, you will have updated idlers and a unicorn nozzle.
Yeah, okay. What the hell is a unicorn nozzle? All right. Well, the first thing on the box, we got the... I still have my K1C box sitting here.
I think that's the tri-metal.
Is it? So they've changed the hot end completely already on these?
It would just be the nozzle.
Okay. Oh, just the nozzle itself. Okay.
Hardened steel tip, copper, alloy, corrode.
There's our glass panel. We know Creality's, all these glass things are so... I hate glass.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I hated it. I hated glass stuff even when it was like computer cases. Like I'm not a big fan of glass on things that can easily get bumped and moved. So, especially because a lot of the glass these companies choose to use are pretty cheap. All right, I'm going to see if I can do the whole yank it out thing with the... Oh. Okay. She heavy. That is way heavier than I was expecting. All right, let me put all the stuff back in the box here.
Yeah, Revo style nozzles where they're all integrated.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. So there's nothing else. It's a K1C Max. They didn't rebrand it. Okay. Yeah, I never got the whole reason for the K1C, unless they're just trying to play off of the whole carbon marketing like Bamboo did. You know, these companies all try to one up and copy each other. So
I know I
all
love
right.
to print with carbon fiber, but I don't know a lot of people who print with it consistently like I do.
Yeah, that's weird that they're like basing the model name of a printer on a material it can print, especially when it's not a very popular material. So this is packed really well. All right. I'm going to throw all the packing material back in the boxes. I probably will save these boxes for a bit, just because if we take these to events, it would be nice to throw them back into the boxes. All right, so here's our accessory pack, fairly standard. Snips, some wrenches, Allen keys,
Add
a
it to the
crappy glue
collection.
stick. Yeah, add it to my collection. A scraper. Let's see, we got a thumb drive here. Thumb drive. We got a little pusher, who's it thing. And then glue stick, lube.
Metal.
Do we actually get a full roll of filament? We actually get a full roll of PLA.
Oh, they're hyper
That's
series, yeah.
Hyper Series. Oh, high speed PLA. The newest. It's like the AI of marketing wank in the 3D printer world these days. Except this printer also has AI. So we got high speed and AI. It's checking all the boxes. All right. Let's see here. I think that's all the packing materials. A lot of these I probably will throw out. I basically want to keep the core box and the foam that holds the machine in place. So if we have to move it, we can use the original manufacturer's packaging. So my whole thing with the high-speed PLA, and I'm surprised we haven't seen a video come out, is the fact is the reason I can print faster is it melts quicker, right? It melts quicker at the same temperatures versus your regular PLA. However, that means that this is not going to be as temperature resistant as regular PLA. So there is a trade-off, and that's with all the brands. All right, I'm going to try not to pull an Uncle Jesse here because I do not have a replacement door.
Yeah.
Yet, yeah. Very soon, actually, we have a prototype coming of it already. So those of you guys waiting for them, we did not forget about you. I've just been busy. We had a kid last week, so
Yeah. Higher viscosity. What Nemo was saying.
My apologies for not being around. So, all right, let's take the tape. I hate this tape they use because it kind of like leaves residue on things. Oh, there. Oh, we're coming off. There we go. Okay. They do have it packaged pretty well, so I'll give them that. What does this say? Oh, I feel like this is probably Uncle Jesse inspired here.
Oh yeah. That's totally because of Uncle Jesse. Don't just tip it on its side, because you'll break the door.
Don't go over a 90-degree angle. Well, if once we get the tough panels, you won't have to worry about breaking the door because the acrylic is a hell of a lot more forgiving than glass. All right. Let's see here. More peeling. All the peels. Get all the peeling done. Oh, I can't stand. You know how many times, like, because I used to work on a lot of different computers. You know how many times I go to like I work on somebody's computer and like the what's it called? Like it still has all the packing stuff on it. My door
Oh,
has hold up.
a lot of
Do you
play in
see
it.
do you
I
see
see
the do
that.
you see the gap here?
Are
Like
the hinges loose?
maybe? Like that's a I mean, it's not going to affect its ceiling, but it doesn't look great.
The best thing about working on somebody else's computer is when you remove the cooler and they still have the sticker on the cooler
Like is
or
my
the
f-
CPU.
is the frame on this bent? Like
Break
'cause
the
if I pull
door.
this way, if I pull this way a little bit, the gap closes.
Did it
Like
get
is
dropped?
my frame? No, I mean we unless it got dropped at Micro Center. This went from Micro Center to the cab of my truck.
I just tossed it out the back of the truck into the warehouse.
Apparently, see if I can. It's not really going back. I mean, it'll work, but it's not a great look. Let's see. We already got out of the box. Maybe I'll remount the door and see it. I'm wondering if this is a common issue with this machine. I mean, it's a bigger machine, so it's going to be more prone to having, gaps and stuff. But like, because this looks okay. I'm wondering if the door just didn't get aligned correctly when they installed it. Because you might not be able to see it, but there is like upward play
Yeah, I see
in
that.
the door where the hinges are. All right.
On the right side, there's a little dent, hard to see, but it's in the seam towards the top, is what Justin was saying.
What's up?
On the right side, there's a little dent, hard to see, but it's at the seam towards the top, is what Justin just said.
Um,
The Friday build. Yeah.
no, I don't see a dent. Like, I'm just looking at this. I wonder too if like it just was assembled incorrectly and a couple screws need to be loosened up to get the frame to kind of shift, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because there
Yeah.
is some play in here. And I'm wondering, just looking how they had this constructed here. So you got a gap here. So this is a part going from here to here. I mean, it's new. It's never been used. So yeah, I don't see anything that's out of sorts in particular on here. I mean, we'll see. Check and see how it prints. But I mean, there is like the door's not staying closed. So I got to put the handle on. It's got the magnet. I think though, if I loosen the door up, if I loosen the hinges up over here,
Mm-hmm.
let's see if that'll help it. Kind of if they. If there's any play in these holes here for the door. There's a little bit. Okay. Hang on.
Hey,
It
Emerson.
might just be the hinges. Hang on. Like whoever put the hinges on just kind of said YOLO. I'm going home.
Did you get the Bondtech upgrade to double your investment? Oof.
No. No, that Bondtech upgrade kit, they clearly didn't R&D that correctly. Okay, so now the gap across the top is even. Let me see if it stays once I tighten the screws up, but there is some play in the hinges. Okay. It was just whoever put the hinges on just didn't give a shit. We're good now. Okay, so it's not the
Autopost
frame
just
then.
is struggling. Yeah, it's everything's moving around. And all the
What's that?
reflections. Thomas says the
Oh,
autofocus is
autofocus?
struggling. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the installation guide. I am just going to put the handle on here really quick because this door keeps opening and I don't want to Uncle Jesse it on stream. So, because if this door flies open, it can crack it, which is what happened to him. I don't understand this whole trend towards the glass doors. They look nice, but give me an acrylic door. Just give me an acrylic door. Keep it simple and keep it
I love
durable.
mine.
Yeah. No, we had some. I still find it funny. We had some people. The door we got from TH3D, if it's flimsier than the stock door. Yeah, it's acrylic. It's not glass. It's holy crap. Did you guys know that plastic is not as rigid as glass? Did you know that? Some people.
Wild concept.
Wild concept. Yes,
Can you
plastic
please
is
come out
not
with
even
a acrylic lid
even
for the top?
thicker. Even thicker acrylic is not going to be as rigid as glass because it's plastic instead of glass. It's also why it's able to like withstand more abuse. So, all right, let's
Emerson,
take
get
a
me
look at the
measurements.
installation guide. Yeah, the lid is glass on this too.
We have
Which,
had
like,
requests for the
honestly, yeah, the bamboo lid.
yeah.
The only thing where glass will be better on the lids is when you have like an AMS on top because the AMS is going to weigh it down. The AMS can weigh
Yeah, it's
quite a
gonna
lot. Like,
support it.
yeah. But honestly, I like the acrylic lids that the K1 and the K1C have. So
Philip, we should have our test door soon. And then
yeah,
soon
like
after
within a
that we'd
couple
be
days.
talking.
Yeah. All right, so I already did the unboxing. It's the same kind of deal with the other one. We got to unscrew the 3 bed fixing screws, pop the screen on, pop the spool holder on. So there's very little setup with this. So the screen on these comes out here. They do tell you here to remove the fixing screws. The funny thing is there's no mention of setting the power supply switch. So I'm wondering if this has a different power supply or like an auto switching power supply versus the K1, the K1C. Because this is saying
If it's not exposed,
interesting.
it's probably going to be auto.
Look at the power rating on here. It's actually rated at 1,000 watts.
Better than the 12. What is it? 12 or 1400?
Oh, the Quiddy that I have sitting on the floor over here. That's like, well, that one's actually only rated at 900. So this is actually rated at. So I'm wondering if they have an AC bed. We're going to find out because we're going to go inside here. But yeah, there's no power switch. I'm assuming this is going to have a different power supply than the K1 and the K1C. The K1 and the K1C both have a LRS 350 knockoff from Creality. It's a Creality branded knockoff. Well, I'll be curious to see what's in this one. I think the control boards are basically the same for the two, with the exception that this actually has hardwire Ethernet support. So I'm trying to angle my camera here. I need to get one of those ones that follows me. I think it's time to retire this guy.
Osmo.
So there was a little tape here. I took this off. We're going to put this cable in. So this little flat ribbon cable thing goes into the port back here. And then the little clips go in here. Push it down. Got one more peel here. And then I got to take the fixing screws off. So there's one here. There's one here, and then one here. There's little yellow arrows where they all are. I think it's is it a 2 millimeter or the 3? No, it's 2 millimeter. Okay. Can I get this in here?
Makes me feel like a professional.
Huh?
Emerson is saying he loves his 360 cam.
Those are all unscrewed. One on the back. I don't think I got out all the way. No, I did. Just not want to come out of the hole. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. Okay, I got it. And one more. All right. There's another reminder on the plate itself to take the fixing screws out, which is good. More redundant reminders, the less chance for users screwing things up.
True.
I will not complain about more and more reminders because we all know end users do not read. So, all right.
That's
I'm
why
gonna rotate
Adobe's
this.
getting sued.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that on Friday.
Stream.
So we're going to have a lot of stuff on Friday. Okay. Spool holder. We again with these back mounted spool. Now the nice thing is this looks like it'd be easy to do a side mount on this because the filament sensor is actually inside here. This is really weird though. Like this is just to hold the PTFE. It looks like. And they're telling you to put the spool over here. Look at this label. They tell you to put the spool over instead of under. I would have done it that way to like feed up this way. That's weird that they
Yeah,
want to
I
have
would
you
have done.
feed it this way. That's weird. That's really weird. Huh.
Did they include a STL to print it on its side? Because didn't the
I don't know.
K1C include hardware and everything so you can do the side mounted?
Yes, it does. And I did one on my K1 already. All right. Peel this off. This is the carbon filter. I probably will never replace these because I don't care.
A spare for my bamboo. Still haven't replaced it. I think I have
Yeah,
like
I don't care. Oh, we do have a network jack down here. Hardware network jack right here, which is nice. I'm very big, even though I have solid Wi-Fi here.
Wi-Fi?
Huh?
Is that because they don't trust in their own Wi-Fi capabilities?
I think it's more because this is a higher end printer and they wanted more to kind of delineate it from the lower end machines.
Yeah, kind of like the
I mean,
X1.
the thing is, all right. Yeah, I think the frame's fine. I think it was just those hinges because the door's fine now. I'm happy with that. I'm glad it was just a simple adjustment. It literally looks like a big K1. They do give you here little feet. These I will use on. I use them on my K1. The K1C has these built in, but these snap onto the stock feet to give you a little more vibration dampening.
That's
Wait,
cute.
do I have? Wait. What? How do I have two spool holders? Oh, you know what? This is the one from the K1C. I was like, wait. They're all the same, but I was like, wait, how do I have two spool holders here? Okay. That's it with the setup, the physical setup. I'm gonna plug it in here. We're gonna go ahead and turn her on. All right. And fun fact, because I know people like doing these, when you print a spool holder, do not get the ones with the super smooth bearings because the printers actually are designed to have a little bit of resistance on the roll. Because if you have it where the roll spins freely, it will start unraveling itself because of the tension in the filament. And I say this because I've seen people complain about it, saying that, oh, it's just bad filament. No. Oh, here's one of the spare nozzles. I'm assuming this is a spare nozzle.
That looks like the unicorn, yeah.
Definitely something they borrowed, air quotes, borrowed from Revo. What was I saying? Oh, because there are people that complain like, oh, well, like your spool unravels when we're printing, and this was actually a different company, not even filament we sold. And the guy had like the super smooth roller one, and it's like, dude, you take the bearings out or go back to the stock one. You can't have it just freely rolling. All right. Next, again, another reminder: remove the 3 screws.
Yeah, objects in motion tend to stay in motion. So when the hot end pulls on the extruder or pulls on the filament from going from side to side, it's gonna keep spinning.
Yep. I am entering in my Wi-Fi credentials. on the world's shittiest keyboard design ever. Oh my god, can we just have like a regular QWERTY keyboard? Is that too much to ask? Oh my god. Like, I thought the Apple keyboards on their phones and stuff were horrible, but this takes the cake for one of the worst keyboards on a touchscreen. All right, we're on the network. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can get it up here. 98. Is it up? It's up. All right. We are gonna check to see if there's updates. Can we go? Can we go now? I was hitting next. That took way too long. There we go. All right, so we're in Central Time. Next. We're not binding it to the cloud. All right. So now I got like 10 minutes for it to do its thing. I almost need like for these bigger printers, I need like a wider angle camera. So nice bright light. I think it's the same light they use in the K1. Yeah, it's just like a little strip. It's just like one segment of the LED is about that wide, but still plenty to light up. A lot brighter than the Bamboo stock lighting. The Bamboo stock lighting is horrible. It's like basically you threw a night light in your printer.
Probably see mine in the background. Nice and bright. There we go. You can actually see it behind me.
There you go. I'm pretty convinced that that Streamlabs drops a bitrate when we're smaller and then ups it when you bring the camera in focus.
Why is it not switching back?
Wait, did you you got to unspotlight yourself.
Oh,
there we go. All right.
All right.
I got a
5 minutes for it to 5 minutes for it to raise the Z up.
Hey, it's going okay. It's trying its best. All right, we got more packing material down here.
These smooth rods instead of linear rails on that?
Yeah. Yeah, there's 3 smooth rods. That's how the K ones are too. Oh, and there's another piece of packing tape in here to hold the duct on in shipping for the auxiliary fan. Not the chamber fan, but like the one that blows across the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're good to heat up the chamber, not good for printing.
Yeah, there's definitely shmoo on the nozzle, so it's been printed with. I'm trying to see if it's the bimetal one. Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, I would say so. See, it's trying to focus on the lead screw back there. It's doing the vibration. It's doing input shaping. It actually says it on the screen here. Input shaping.
Hey, they yell at you not to touch the printer while it's doing this.
All of them have yelled at you to not touch the printer while it's doing this.
And yet...
Oh, it's ramping up. You're vibrating.
You'll probably
I just noticed.
If you put it down wherever.
I just noticed, Tor, going to the tool head out here. There's actually two wires, 2 sets of wires going to the tool head here. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
The K1 only has 1 set of wires. I wonder why.
Those are just for the AI, the LiDAR.
You think one of them's for that? Well, here's the thing though. The other board, because it has a daughter board with a CPU on it, the K1 and the K1C both have ports for that LiDAR thing. For the record, I think LiDAR is kind of a gimmick. I don't even use it on my Bamboo.
It's LiDAR.
Yeah, it's a marketing gimmick.
Justin, he'll have to rerun it once he puts it wherever the printer's going to go, and then it's going to be the door's
Yeah,
going to be.
I don't think it'll matter very much.
It will affect it, yeah, because the door will shake a bit while it's open. But for just unboxing and testing, it won't really matter.
I forgot to peel the thing off the camera.
See, he's touching it while it's doing.
I'm touching it. Oh no. Oh no. All right, there we go. Same exact camera that's on the K1C and the one you can add onto the K1. Yeah, no, I'll be rooting it and putting just regular clipper on there, just like I did my K1. My K1's been great. I have a much better user experience now that it's rooted. Looking at the belt path though. Is it just me or are these like not spaced the same? Like this has got a wider gap here versus over here. You see that?
Actually, it does look like that.
Like,
The left is a lot smaller gap. That's
yeah. So like the belt attachment point, I'm assuming where it's attached on the carriage.
Did you
So
just
I don't think it'll
get it?
make that big of a deal, but it bothers me. What?
Did you really just get a Friday printer? Like the door, the belts, everything is just slightly off.
Maybe that's why Micro Center had good pricing on them compared to Creality's own site. It's just sitting here at input shaping. It's not making any noise. It's probably doing all the calculations, and the processor on this thing is slow as dog shit. I will say though, the processor on this, while it gets the job done, it is so slow compared to even like a Pi 3B. Like it's a very slow processor. All right, we're doing the auto leveling now.
Justin, I like my eddy current sensor. It works well on my Mercury one.
And now we're going to
It's
auto level.
a pain to set up.
Oh, we got the little bed wiggle. Sounds exactly the same as my K1 and the K1C. I'm assuming they're going to be about the same noise level too. I don't see why they would be much different.
Dan, from what people in chat were saying, this is one of the newer models. It has the unicorn nozzle, and it looked like it had the bigger idlers.
Yeah, I will say their nozzles look nice. Like the machining's really good on them. I like the idea of the bimetal here, where you got the copper to help with the heat transfer, and then you got the steel tip. Now, it isn't a hardened steel tip. This is just a regular steel tip, and the way you can tell the difference on the nozzles, if it's a hardened steel, it'll be more black from the hardening process, and this is just steel. Now, steel's fine, but in terms of longevity,
it's still abrasive resistant, but
yes,
it's not going to be as abrasive resistant and long lasting as a hardened.
but
that's
it comes
why
in a nice little tube.
That's why I'm not putting fancy filament through my Stovall, because it's a steel nozzle, but it's not a hardened steel nozzle.
I mean, I have our V6 steel nozzles in my Mosquito right now, and I've run a lot of CF through it, and it's been fine. I should be really curious. I should do a test where it's like, okay, is hardened steel actually that much better in terms of actual practical application? We're not talking about like on paper better, like in terms of like, hey, is this like a lot better or really not going to make that big of a difference through the life of the nozzle, right? So, because steel does stand up to the carbon fiber filaments really well.
Yeah, that was one of the first modifications I did. I have, was it the stock Betis?
It is so loud. These printers are so damn loud. It's just funny because it's funny how loud these printers have gotten, because I remember people bitching about how loud the CR10 was, and these are like Like literally 30 CR10s running at full speed would probably be
The
quieter than
fans
this
are
one.
louder than the CR10s.
It's the fans,
moving
yeah.
around.
The stepper drivers are quiet now, but the fans are loud as shit. I mean, personally, I don't really care, but it's just funny because we have so many people complain about noise level of fans. It's like, guys, like it's got to make noise to move air. Air moving through things makes noise. So if you want a high performance cooling setup, it's gonna make noise.
Fuel is fine for about 4 to 6 spools versus Harden is nearly unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even
I
the
usually
plated
just go with
ones wear
Harden.
down fast. Even the plated ones will wear down faster than hardened steel. But the problem with hardened steel, though, is that you do have poorer heat transfer, so it's a trade-off. So, like, steel transfers heat a little bit better than hardened. Hardened is like one of the worst. So, basically, in terms of heat transfer, you got copper, like from best to shittiest is like copper, brass, steel, hardened steel. Hardened steel being the least amount of heat transfer from the heater block through the nozzle then into the filament. So, but you can compensate for that by just upping your print speeds, or not print speeds, your print temps.
I pretty much just swap all of mine out with hardened steel because that's what I'm used to printing with. So all my temps pretty much remain consistent between all the printers.
Yeah, I have our plated nozzles in a lot of machines just because if I need to occasionally run abrasives, I can just do it and not have to worry about it. But if there's a machine where I'm going to be consistently running abrasives through it, it's going to get a steel or a hardened steel because even the plated ones will get worn out. Not necessarily the diameter of the nozzle, but what I found is especially if you have a print failure, it will just sand the crap down out of the nozzle, and the steels just handle that a lot better than plated ones. Because once the plating's gone, you're down to the copper nozzle or brass nozzle, whatever.
It's just gonna chew through it.
Yeah, there's trade-offs for everything.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 or 9 spools of either carbon fiber or abrasive materials. And I just got some glass fiber ASA in as well to play with.
Glass fiber is abrasive, but not as abrasive as CF, from what I understand.
It's not something I've printed with before, so I wanted to test it out.
Yeah. This apparently is a pretty popular printer model because we got 60-something people watching right now. So
I love
I will say though, I think that the next thing I'm gonna mess with on my K1 is probably switching out the bed probe for our NG8, just because I'll use the bed sensor for the Z offset, but you see how long these take to probe? Like the Easy ABL will be a lot faster than this bed probe. And then we can use the bed still to get the Z offset. So it's the best of both worlds. You can have faster probing, you still have the Z offset set by the bed. And since they're running Clipper, you can modify it and have it do that.
Nemo. Love using plated, but it keeps the nozzle less messy.
Yeah.
Slice Engineering has a...
Their coating doesn't work.
Their coating, yeah.
I have it. I like a lot of stuff they have, but I'm going to say I have a bottle in my drawer. I tried it out. It just doesn't work. Like,
I used it for a little bit on one nozzle and it didn't work, but I wanted to test it on a few more. Just to
I was really disappointed because it seems like it's kind of a gimmick than an actual product that works well. Like it just there was no difference. And it was applied per directions. Yeah, I even tried cleaning it out. Yeah, it's just a horrible product. And it's expensive. I was disappointed because typically they make good stuff. I've got their Mosquito Magnum, my Ender 5 Plus. It's been in there for a couple of years. I've got tons of time on it, and it runs great. But their nozzle coating is just kind of it's a waste of money. I get what they were trying to do with it, but
yeah, it's $15 for 3 mil.
What slice? Well, the slices come out. What do you recommend? I'm still a Prusa slicer fan. So I know Tor, you're basically on Orca for everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm split between Orca and Prusa, and actually we're gonna be sending out an email about if you guys have bamboos. Tor wrote up a nice email talking about differences between Orca Slicer and Bamboo Studio. I would like to eventually get everything converted over from Prusa over to Orca, just because I basically only use Orca right now for my bamboo.
Yeah.
All right, we're done finally with the self-check.
For a lot of the features, bamboo, slicer, and Orca are pretty much the same, but there's still a lot more tuning and tweaking and calibration stuff you can do in Orca slicer that bamboo hasn't pulled over.
Yeah, so here, there's a firmware update. I'm on 13351339. It does say do a factory reset if you use the root script. So I haven't done that. So let's go ahead and let it update real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and get the filament loaded while that's going.
120.
I'm gonna pop the. I'm gonna go ahead and close that. It is really quiet with the door shut. So double checking here. I was telling Chris, I was like, this printer's so big, you can literally fit our child inside of it right now.
Hey, Puff.
I say like the number one thing we've been having issues, like not issues, but like the number one frustrating thing we've had so far with the kid is getting her to stay awake while she's eating. I didn't think that would be a problem. It's like, baby, wake up and eat your food. Like, all right, let's open this. They're hyper PLO. I am not. This is when was the last time we got a full roll of filament with a printer? Because even with my $1,500 bamboo, they didn't give me a full roll. They gave me like three.
They
like,
give you 3 like
partial
200 gram.
Not even a kilogram of filament.
Yeah, it's like 200 grams each, and then one of them you don't even use because it's. I think
The
it's
support material.
Yeah, it's the support material.
Yeah.
And I think it's PET G is what people were saying.
Yeah, I actually got to send a payment where I got some more samples coming of some cool new filaments that we found. So hopefully they print well, because if they do, there's going to be more stuff added to our spaghetti filament lineup.
Some
I am loading
on the Max with Creality print. Jimmy, that just comes down to tuning the profile for those filaments.
What do you say?
I can't. Orca, but I found some filaments print better on the Max with Creality print. I'm sure they've tuned.
Oh, it's just the profiles, yeah.
Or they're
because I use
their filament.
Okay, so I'm trying to feed the filament. I did cut it at a 45 and straighten it out, and getting it past this filament sensor, I'm having a hard time here. Oh, it just pushed the tube out. Okay, that's annoying. That is kind of a pain in the ass.
After the upgrade, please recalibrate before starting print task.
Oh no. God damn it. I did not think of that. All right, so I'm just getting the filament loaded in here. Got it in the extruder. They are still using the moon stepper motors. We're just looking in the back here. It looks very similar to the K1. All right. I will say though, okay, let's see. Oh, just auto. Okay, let's see. Before I start this, I want to see what's on the USB drive here. I'm sorry, guys. I did not realize it would literally restart everything. Okay, so here we've got spool holder, K1 Max spool holder, the scraper, a benchy. USB drive has got basically the same stuff on here. Operation video slicer. Okay, so there's not much on here. I will say, I even though the processor on these printers are slow, USB drive pops up. What? I plug it in. It says detect inserted, and then you unplug it, and it says it pops up. Oh, the Chinglish. All right, let's see. I want to. Oh, what's expert mode? Oh, PI. Oh, look at they got a PID. They got. Oh, okay, you adjust the
Something you
flow.
can't do on a bamboo PID
Yeah,
tune.
yeah. I mean, I'm willing to. I'm willing to accept a little bit of jankiness with, a Creality machine for the fact that I can actually, mess with the machine. But again, my my K1 has been solid, and I've been running the rooted software. All right, where the hell do we go back to calibrate? Because I exited that menu. I self check. Yep. And it'll make Justin happy because the door is shut now. Okay, look it's shut. But here, we just take a look at it. It is very dark. Like, can you guys see? Like, I have a light on this. Do you see how
I can
how
barely
hard
see
it
where the
is?
bed is.
Yeah. So yeah, our doors make a big difference on that. And we did send off. We got the new revision of the K1 doors that should fit the K1 and the K1C coming, and I'll test fit that to our K1 and our K1C. So there will be two versions of the door in the shop for K1 and the K1C. But yeah, well, that's going. Actually, I'll look over Tor's email really quick. Does anybody have any questions while we're waiting for this thing to recalibrate with the new firmware? Because after that, we're going to go ahead and run a test print on here. How to frustrate Tim at one simple download? Nah, it's fine. I don't like having you guys wait a ton. You know? I will say though, like the big thing with these printers, because everything is so automated on the Creality, the new Creality machines, on the Bamboos, like because they have so many sensors now, which is good. There's a lot more hand holding required and prep time to get a print started, which is kind of frustrating because if you guys are used to the older machines, especially running our firmware, you can have by the time in like on Ender 3 printing a PLA print, to give you an example, I can have the print started in less than 5 minutes. That includes a whole new auto bed leveling mesh taken. That includes being able to adjust the first layer if I need to. The bed heating up, the hot end heating up, like, the older machines are faster, but the trade-off is they do require a little more user intervention and know what you're doing, being able to look at the machine and be like, okay, yeah, my first layer is good, or okay, my first layer is not good, let me adjust it. Still, my biggest complaint with the Bamboo is the fact that I can't adjust my first layer. There we go.
Well,
I'm waiting
it
for your
focused for half a second.
Yeah, there you go. It's getting better.
One is printed on the Voron with the ABS. One is printed on the ABS was on the Bamboo. The ASA was on the Trident.
I honestly, I want to say the Trident's on the left on my screen. It's on your right. It's on your right.
This is a Trident.
Ah,
This is the ASA.
Yeah, that Trident print's really clean.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that technically an old printer by like standards these days?
It's been out for a few years now, yeah. This is actually an older revision as well from LDO.
But it's still a high speed Core XY. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
All right, it's doing the input shaping. I just heard it buzzing away. Should be almost done. All right, let's see. I will say Tor should probably put some links into in the email to Orca. That's the only thing missing here. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm already in there.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions? Is there? Yeah, there's built-in lighting in there. It's just, it's very dim. Because of the door, there is lighting. You can see up here how the Creality logo or the Creality has like, look how dark this door is. So
I don't
we have.
understand why they want it so tinted.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. So this will be getting one of our tough panels. We have the K1 sample coming. If you guys are not familiar with our tough panels, they're glass door replacements. So they're acrylic panels that we have cut here in the US. It's made out of cast acrylic, so it's still nice and flat. You unscrew the door, put the new one on. We have them right now for the K1 and the Bamboo X1 or P1. We will have one for these as well. So you'll actually be able to see inside your printer, and you don't have to worry about it breaking like the glass. As somebody who's had my K1 door die, does make me kind of nervous. So especially now that we have a little one and we got a bunch of pets, I don't want them getting glass shards in their feet. So let's see here. Insert link. I'm going to put a link to Orca Slicer in the email. Let's see. A little discount code in the email we're going to send out later. How's that? Ed Burks, how would you mount 8mm probe to the 8mm? I'm assuming it means EZABL and K1 Max. So basically, we just have same with any other printer. The cable for the sensor would get run down just through the cable chain. We'd have to have a mount for it, which I want to design a mount for that. Tor, were you able to find any CAD models for the K1 series yet?
I don't think I did find any. Let me look around.
Luckily, I have all three of them. But basically, just have a way to mount it. You run it through there. You run it back to the control board. I know there's a bunch of spare I/O pins on these boards, and then update your clipper config. So there would be modifications to the clipper configuration. You would have to be rooted to support it. So
no, I did find the K1. I don't think I found a K1 Max. But they use the same hot end setup, don't they?
the K1 and the K1 Max use the same one. I think the K1C is different. And I have to log into our Twitch account because we have some assholes spamming links in chat, and I can't ban. Are you logged into our Twitch?
No, but I'm a mod.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they can get banned.
How are they posting links though? That's usually auto.
I don't know. I have no idea how they're.
Which auto modded?
Yeah, usually won't it like block them?
Yeah, it'll auto time them out.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, hey, our Polymaker rep.
I just emailed him back. I was gonna message you.
Yeah, I'm gonna reply back. All right. So they said they can give us, we can reserve up to 100 of the poly dryers, but only 40 of the boxes. So I'm gonna tell them yes, let's do it.
Oh, I just emailed him.
Oh, well, he's gonna be like, you guys are very enthusiastic. All right, let's see here. All right. Are we done yet? Nope, still got to do auto leveling. God damn. Is there a CAD model for Ender 3 V3 KE? I don't think there is yet. I have the Ender 3 V3 KE and the SE. I bought a lot of Creality printers this year. Now we're doing the auto leveling. I can open the door now since it's done doing the input shaping. Just to, what was it? Was it Justin that was getting his panties in a bunch because the door was open?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see here, like here, even if I turn the fill light off on our camera, that's just the K1 light, the stock light with our ambient lighting going through the tinted top glass. I'm pretty happy with Creality's light that come with them.
Who's asking?
Tom's asking, I want a bigger build on my Ender 3 Pro. I want to maintain use of Marlin. Are any recommendation? Look at the Ender 6. I do like my Ender 6. Those are some printers you might be able to find slightly used. My Ender 6 is behind me. I still use that printer all the time. Is it as fast as these newer ones? It's not. Is it easier to repair than these? Absolutely. The Ender 6 is a lot more repair friendly than any of these newer machines. But
Or
the
an Ender
sad part
5
is,
Plus and then upgrade to
yeah.
Mercury 1.
Well, yeah, the 5 Plus. I mean, looking to enclose a printer, I don't know. I mean, if you don't need an enclosed printer, then yeah, the Mercury 1 would be awesome, and then you'd be getting into the high speed printer territory. But yeah, like the sixes, I like my 6, hence why it's still sitting behind me and it hasn't been replaced. I've got kind of a hodgepodge of printers here. I mean, just looking at it, there's also a rack over here you guys can't see. I still have my Ender 3 Pro that's still kitted out with all their stuff. I got my Ender 3 S1. I got my Ziltech Gear V2, which I got to change the bed thermistor out on. I got my SVO6 Plus, CR10S Pro that's been retrofitted with a bunch of our stuff. And then I got the Ender 3 V3 SE and the Ender 3 V3 KE. And I got one more spot open. I was going to probably give this one to Krista once I'm done with it, because then she has another printer that's a larger build on, because she's got the Ender 2 Pro and the SVO6, the regular SVO6 right now. So, yeah, if you can find a good deal on the Ender 6, Tom, like that's still a great printer. The only thing I mean, not the only thing, I've done quite a bit to it, but I've got our board, our LCD kit. I did some upgrades on the hot end. I do have our pulleys on there, and I have our extruder. But again, it's a printer you can fairly easily modify. It's a way easier to modify than something like this. It does look like I saw someone in the chat. They said that the belts will start evening out. They do like they're starting to even out now. It's moving.
Yeah.
They're still slightly off, but I don't think it's going to affect anything. Sunrush says you got the updated K1 Max, smaller motors, and 20T pulleys in the Unicorn. Okay, so I do have the updated one. Yeah, because I do see the 22 pulleys in the rear. Creality changing all their stuff, man, with no revisions. And we're almost done. Man, these nozzle probes are almost as slow as a BL Touch. I think a BL Touch might be a little faster than this. He's still going. Let's see here. Is my camera? Hang on, I'm gonna re-add this camera because it's like dropped down to 720p for some reason. No, it's still whatever. I like Streamlabs. I like these cloud video softwares, but like you can't get as high a picture quality versus streaming right through OBS right to your destinations. Okay, so that should be it. I'm going to heat this up and we're going to have it run its pre-sliced benchy. This printer should be the same print speed as like the K1 and the K1C, which are very fast. The K1 and the K1C are very fast machines. All right, so it's all done. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go home. All right, let's go ahead and extrude. I'm going to hit it to 220C, so it's going to heat the nozzle. I already have the filament in there, so hopefully it'll just start pushing it out. Let's see how quick this heats up. It's going pretty good. I think this has those new ceramic heaters in here too.
Oh, the cat up. Let me see. It looks like it. Because it's
Did you find a CAD for Did you find a CAD for this?
Not the Max, but I do have the CAD for the normal K1.
Okay. All right, let's see. It says it's extruding.
I'm actually looking around right now to see where an 8mm could fit.
It's pooping the plastic. I don't like that it's curling up there. Do we have a partial clog already?
That is normally an indication of something, yeah.
Yeah, that there might be a partial clog in there. Let me try to extrude more. Yeah, the stock menu on this thing sucks because like the Guppy UI, which is what you get when you can install that when you root these, will just keep the nozzle temp. This one like starts dropping the nozzle temp back down before it extrudes. Or after it's done extruding. It won't like keep it there. Yeah, there's definitely like a darker colored filament in here. Because I loaded white and you can see it's like
Gray or
focus.
something.
Focus. Yeah, it's like coming out kind of gray. Come on, Sony. There we go. All right, and it's coming down. Maybe they tested it with ABS or something. They needed some time to flush out. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the print here. I'm gonna leave the door open. All right, local, benchy. I'm just gonna check the calibration button to see what that does, since it's got the AI LiDAR thing. The funny thing is the bracket that holds the little AI LiDAR like pattern on the left side here, this right here, it's like at an angle. I don't know if that'll affect it or if it's supposed to be like, but I feel like that should probably be like centered. Or not centered, but like not at an angle. Should be perpendicular with the bed. Warm the nozzle down now. This is new. So the guy, he said the guy that made Guppy, that's the third person who made a dual boot OS for the K1 Max, pretty close to mainline Clipper. That's awesome. That'd be cool to check out. Yeah, mainline Clipper is a lot better than Creality's bastardized version of it. I like went to move my foot and there's a golden retriever underneath my desk right now.
Yeah, I
No,
just heard the pathetic little meow behind me.
I know, right? Come here. Go ahead. You've been good. Come on. Just stop whacking all my cables with your tail. There we go.
Have a
Mr.
good one,
Needy
Phil.
over here. Later, Philip. Oh, he's rage quitting. My comments seems not to be useful. What? People need to take a chill pill. If I were to order a K1 Max, how would I assure I'm getting the latest release? You don't. You get it. You get what you get. I think at this point, though, the ones in inventory should probably be the later ones, from what I've seen. But Creality doing Creality things, which is changing printers mid-production and not, letting people know.
No real indication, yeah.
Yep. Hey, at least with the K1C, they made it a completely different model, but they're also still selling the K1. So, who knows? Yeah. So I got this. This is what I'm dealing. So I got the red one under the desk here, and then look at Remo.
That's how some of my cats lay.
Like,
Just on their back.
what are you doing, Remo?
Getting a new perspective of the world.
Like, and then see, I said Remo's name, so comments like, well, I want attention. So vicious. Look how vicious. It's starting the print. I did actually already print stuff for the baby. already put in the printer's use because Chris needed some bottle holders to keep them from tipping over, and I found some, and I printed them, and they worked great. Doing a little bed jiggle, and get the little Z0 position there. I'm assuming we're going to go ahead and take another mesh of the bed. Yep. Oh, we're just doing the four corners. We might only be doing the four corners. I'm surprised they don't have it move quicker between points. The machine definitely could run those points quicker. Are we going to now do a full bed level? We've determined it's needed now. Yep. Oh my god. Well, welcome to the new generation of printers where auto leveling takes forever, and I never thought I'd say this, but I'd rather be dealing with a BL Touch right now. At least they're faster. Let's see. See if I have any tickets here that need my attention while we're waiting. It's been a fairly quiet week, which is good. Orders have been steady, but like, huh?
But yeah, good right after the baby that it's not crazy.
Yeah, the hardest part that's been with the kid is just getting the sleep in between her sleeping and wanting to eat again. So imagine auto leveling taking longer than the actual print. I mean, this is you guys can time it. It's probably about a fourth of the print.
For some of the bamboo prints that I've done, it has happened where setup and calibration and everything takes longer than the actual print.
Yeah. You know, there's trade-offs to these new printers. The nice thing is they do a lot of the stuff for you. The bad thing is it takes a long time to do that stuff. So if you're wanting to just jump in and run a print, like you're gonna be waiting a little bit.
How far back does it go?
What do you mean?
When it goes to the rear of the printer?
It goes almost to the rear of the plate, like very close to the edge.
Well, look at the pictures I just sent you in Team. And let me know if you think that might work. So I don't know how far it actually goes back when homing and everything.
Oh, I see what you're saying for like the probe.
Yeah. Tucked in behind underneath the stepper motor.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think you'll be in the clear because if it's centered, it's gonna miss the motors in the rear there and the other stuff because you've also got the lead screw in the very back. I think you'd be fine doing it right like that.
All right. Because there's two mounting holes on the side that it looks like I can use.
I see that. And you know what? That's on this one. That's where the LiDAR bolts on.
Depending on how they mount it, you can just add longer bolts.
Yeah, I'll have to
take a closer look at plate.
That. Yeah, so it's right back by the lead screw right now, and there's definitely clearance where you could fit the probe back there. It's not going to hit the, at least during probing. I'm wondering, though, if it would hit the lead screw when it does the nozzle wipe at the very back of the plate, though, because that's right by, that's right by the lead screw there.
I might be able to do it at the front right and just use like the housing mounts.
Yeah, I'm looking here. If you had it forward a little bit, let's see how far it comes here.
I can't have it any more forward because it's going to hit the
camera. No, there's not much space on there on the right side. It would almost have like in terms of compatibility with the LiDAR and everything. If the LiDAR wasn't on a machine, then you got plenty of space to throw the probe there. I mean, they've made pretty good use out of the carriage.
Yeah, and it looks like the LiDAR and stuff tucks underneath all the.
Yeah, it tucks on. Yeah, it tucks under. It's like, I mean, we're talking like
So
a couple
the probe would
millimeters of.
yeah, the probe would be in the way and hit stuff. And there's, from what I saw on the CAD, there's no real room inside the
Yeah, there's
housing
definitely no
for
room
anything.
inside. I mean, it would obviously, you're gonna have to change printer configs. So we could have an updated config to change the macros it's using while it's doing probing and or nozzle wiping to account for where the probe's at.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. I'm
Justin,
wondering if what. Now I told
printing
it to do the
stuff.
calibration. I don't think it did anything with the lidar.
Didn't look like it. Justin,
No,
I'm printing knuckles for my Joy-Cons for my Nintendo Switch.
I'm looking here right now. Camera AI
Wow.
function.
Right here.
So you have to have it. So they have the motion advance for the AI lidar detection. Has to be you have to use the cloud.
Of course.
So I'm literally never going to use that. She's shaking. Yeah, it says, like, I'm in the menu here. I'll show you guys while this is printing. So I'm in the menu here for the AI stuff. And you can see here in optimization, which means it's not done, but Creality print only, that's their cloud. So you can't turn it on if it's not bound to the cloud. Like, you can change your sensitivity, but again, it won't do anything because it's not on the cloud. So that right there, that AI thing is useless to me.
Silent Rush says I took my lidar off day one. Yeah.
I think, you know what? Just let's just make a mount where it'll go where the lidar is, and then that'll be a prerequisite. Hey, you're gonna have to be rooted, and you can't use the lidar. But if you're stripping out the Creality cloud stuff, you can't use the lidar anyways. So does it really matter? You know what I mean? Sure.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry, I thought you locked up. I said, you know what I mean? Like, if you're rooting it and you're getting rid of the Creality cloud stuff anyways, the lidar can't be used then.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to use it. So I'll probably take it off.
I
It looks
wonder
like
if you
it's
could just
just. It
use
looks
it
like it
for a
just.
nozzle can.
No, because it doesn't point at the nozzle. It's pointing like kind of an angle towards, like, at a 45 towards bed, because I can see the camera there. But I'll probably just take it off mine because I'm going to root and everything. So Jim Miller said it won't until you activate the lidar in the menu. Then the only time it's done it for me is if I use the USB or print from the screen. I don't do the cloud. Yeah, I'm just not going to mess with it then. With the AI lidar thing, I'm just going to pull it off. I don't even use the lidar on my Bamboo. Literally, the only thing the lidar module's used for is the plate detection, which I could also turn off because I only print on the textured plates that we sell. You know, with all these revisions to the K1 Max, I'm wondering if that's why there's two different plate versions out for it, and why our first batch of the K1 Max plates didn't fit some people's K1s. And I'm wondering if that's since I have the newer one.
Unreleased change, or undocumented change, I should say.
Yeah. Well, this printer clearly has a ton of undocumented changes based on people in the chat.
Yeah, they said third revision.
Yeah. Does Creality have this anywhere on their site? But I feel like this is probably something we should have in our help centers, like a K1 Max revision, and like what to look for to determine what revision you have. Because we used to do that with certain machines, like the CR. Remember the CR10 and the CR10Ss? Because people are getting confused. We have like a document of like what CR10 version do you actually have?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to use Creality Slicer at all. Justin, the eddy current sensors cannot work with Marlin. They're not supported. They're only Clipper. Our unified firmware is built on Marlin, so if Marlin doesn't support it, our firmware doesn't support it. Why is it going so slow on that pass? That was so weird.
That would be something to bring up with. Well, no, you wouldn't be able to use it because Marlin doesn't do multiple MCUs.
Correct. Oh yeah, because eddy current is its own MCU, isn't it?
Yep, it's run like the RP2040, I think.
Yeah, the Pico, the Raspberry Pico Silicon.
So it has to be running Clipper.
Yep. That's one thing I do actually like about Clipper is the fact you can run multiple MCUs. So when I do my Ender 5 Plus Mercury 1 build, I'm going to actually have two EasyBoard V2s in it. One of them just for an extra output for running the dual Z motors. It's going. It looks like it's printing really nice. Although, of course, they always give you white filament. White filament makes everything look like it prints great. But this is actually printing great. Let's see if I can adjust the focus here. Let me kick it into manual focus. Turn the lighting down. I'll pull a close-up on it once it's done. The funny thing is the bench only takes a couple minutes longer than the printer's auto calibration.
Silent. The eddy coil also uses own MCU. If I'm pretty sure.
Well, the thing is too, like depending on.
That's a different version of the eddy sensor. There's like 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, eddy coil. Yeah, I2C. Marlin does support I2C. So as long as you have the pins exposed that support I2C, you can also do like it over. I might be thinking of SPI. You can use software SPI. Okay, so it looks like the poly dryers are going to be, the ETA is like end of July, early August, and we're guaranteed to get 100 of them. I wonder if we should do like a pre-order for people that want to do a pre-order. Because their ETAs are pretty good. We've backordered stuff from them. I just got an email because I'm on all our competitors like email list. Matter Hackers is trying to say a used Altimaker S5 is a good deal at $4,800. And a Lulzbot Taz Workhorse, open box, $1,900. Jesus Christ! I don't think they know what the word deeply discounted actually means. Because that ain't it. You're printing good though. This will be about the same speed as the K1, and the K1Cs. Yeah, the BD sensor. I've messed with the BD sensor. They're wait, wrong one. It's not great. I had one in here because I had a customer that wanted to use it on there and got it working and everything, but it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that was going to be for a custom build, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we're like, no.
But that was an I2C. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. It was also kind of janky the way they had it. It was like they used parts from like a USB cable end. Let's see, GPIOs. I'm pretty sure it was an I2C. I'm just pulling their documentation up. Data protocol. Yeah, it's I2C. It's not it's not a standard I2C. It's their own thing, but it's basically an I2C sensor.
The only real difference would be the size and the LiDAR, and from what I've heard, most people aren't even going to be using the LiDAR.
Yeah, I'm going to take it off. I don't really care.
So you would only really get this for the size and speed.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bigger K1.
Just wait for the
K2. Yeah, the K2 will be interesting because if they're going to start selling those CFS, they call their multi-material system the CFS, unless they change it from, between now and when I'm doing this stream and then. But their equivalent of the AMS is the CFS, and since the K2 Plus, and we're assuming it runs Clipper just like these other ones, it opens up a world of possibilities for other Clipper machines to possibly use that CFS. So, which would be really cool. I'm assuming they're probably going to do a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a cutter in the head, like the Bamboos did. But you don't have to have a cutter to do multi-material. You can actually do a tool chain script by using the printer's nozzle.
Yeah, you just need a good shaping script for the nozzle or for the filament tip.
Yeah, and then a tight diameter tubing right after the nozzle. So basically, you would push, because I've done this before. I did this like 7 years ago now.
Yeah, this is the OG way of doing it.
Yeah, so you basically would have a splitter coming in, and you'd be printing. It'd go park the head. It would start purging it. I did a purge block, but basically it would purge a little bit, retract it a little bit, shove it down again, and then retract really fast, and it would come back up into the PTFE and reform it down to the smaller diameter. So you'd have to have something like our tough tube there with the smaller diameter to reform it back down to the small diameter. Get it past the splitter. Once it's past the splitter, you push the next filament in, purge it out, and then continue printing. The cutter just makes it a lot cleaner, but it's not impossible to do multi-material on a single print head without a cutter. It's just getting the tool. It's just getting the tool chain script down. Yes, I think the K1 had LiDAR because the Bamboo had one. Yeah, and the Bamboo one is a gimmick too. I never use it on my X1C. I have never used it aside from like my first week, and I just turn it off because it doesn't make that big of a difference. If your profiles are tuned well and you're not using really crappy filament, it's not really needed.
Yeah, Justin, I consider doing a ERCFA kit, but I just don't print multi-material that much.
And yeah, it's hard to get it tuned in just right. But once you get that tip forming procedure it's called a tool change script. Once you get that tool change script that forms the tip, it's really easy to then just run prints. So as long as you get that tool change script down to form the tip between the color changes, it's going to be great. But it's getting to that point. It's a lot of trial and error, a lot of messing with stuff, running test prints.
A lot of clearing jams and clogs.
Yeah.
And use a filament cutter. Oh yeah, because the Stealth Burner has a filament cutter option.
Do they now? Okay.
Yeah,
filament cutter is easier.
They literally used the Bamboo cutter, from what I saw. Okay, hey, it works. It's a known working system. Just modify it into yours.
I'm just watching this print on the screen here. It's coming out good. People also say the VFA issues. I have one of the original K1s that has the larger pulleys, and I don't have issues with artifacting. Like, I'm wondering if it was just like a small batch of machines that had an issue. Maybe it was like whatever motors they had, and maybe I lucked out and got a later revision. I'm not sure. He's going. We're almost done with the benchy. The smokestack should start appearing soon.
Took you about a month to get the Earth return tuned in. Yeah, I don't want to spend.
That's a lot of work.
Stuff in. I'm surprised they should have like a good base profile for it, don't they already? Seeing as there's kits out.
There we go. Now we're doing the smokestack. Almost done. And then I want to go into the guts of this thing. I'm actually curious to see how it differs from the K1 and the K1C. Because the K1 and the K1C were very similar. All right. And the benchy's sinking.
Eli, Ender 3 is the main printer in the print farm.
Yeah, still. I mean, they're all fully upgraded. But yeah, we still
Ender 3 and Ender 3 Pro. And
I just realized it's actually stuck with that glue stick. That was surprising. Because usually it doesn't. I might just do this without the light on. Because it'll probably come out a little better. Yeah.
If you can get it to focus.
Well, the focal point on here is not the best sometimes. Let's see here. All right. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like the K1 and the K1C, which is good.
Pretty standard print, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 16-minute print. It's faster than the Bamboo. Layering, like, perfectly nice. There's no bulging or anything. You can see here, look at some of the old film that's still there. See, it's kind of gray. So
yeah.
they actually tested this at the factory, which is good. But yeah, all in all, it prints good. It's nice to get printers where we're not fighting with them on every little thing when we do an unboxing and stream. So yeah. Let me see here. I just turned the fill light on focus. There we go.
To hide all the issues light.
No, it looks great. It's hard to see here, but yeah, it is gray halfway up the hole on person. No, I'm just obviously with the white film, it's hard to see. But I don't see any over extrusion. I'm just looking at it right now. I don't see any over extrusion. The print quality is good. It looks like the benches that came off the K1s and the K1Cs we've already looked at previously. All right, I'm going to take the glass top of the printer off before I move it. Because
add some tape to the door.
What's that?
I said add some tape to the door.
I'm going to tilt it up on its back. So I'm going to snip the filament and pull the roll off here. Make sure I don't let the end go. Okay. All right. Let's see what's inside. I'm going to tilt it on its back so we don't have the glass door go flying. Okay. All right, let's see.
I'm betting ferrules and auto switching power supply.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm curious to see, depending on the wattage of the power supply, if this is an AC or DC bed. Because definitely, I thought it was going to be the same electronic setup as the K1 and the K1C, but the fact that it doesn't have a power supply voltage switch tells me that it's probably using an auto switching one. I doubt they have a separate SKU just for the U.S. market. Let's see.
Watch that fan cable.
Yep, no, I see it. Yep, caution, high voltage, no touching. Yep, so the bed is AC.
That's nice to see. Is it? How thin is it?
It's not like your traditional solid state relay.
That's like what they have in the
SVO8.
SVO8.
Yeah, which would make sense because Creality and Comgrow and Solval are all kind
Their
of, they call it,
suppliers.
yeah, this looks almost identical to what it is. I'm going to take this off here. We're unplugged right now, so there's no harm. Yeah. So you got your ground here. Are there's 3 wires going to the bed. You see this? 1, 2, 3. There's 3 wires going to the bed. Here's your thermistor line going to the bed. We got our mains in here. So we got our line and our voltage, or our line or neutral coming in here. And we've got there's 4 MOSFETs here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, no.
And they
There's
have
2 MOSFETs
another.
here, and they have those are probably opto isolators. So there's 2 MOSFETs here. And then we've got
4-wire. It's a
yeah, there's
5-wire.
a 4-wire connection going to it to control it.
That's odd.
Yeah, it's labeled bed. So bed heat AC. So this I wonder if this is doing some sort of power monitoring. Because there's actually quite a few chips on here versus just a standard solid state relay. And it's conformal coded on part of the board. That's weird. I wonder why it's conformal coded. Yeah, it is labeled on here. There's labels on the terminals here. I'm curious to see what they say on the terminals here.
Yeah. What is the third wire? Might
It
I
might
don't.
be duals. It might be like a dual zone type setup where it can run it at a lower wattage,
Yeah,
or
that would make
depending on,
sense.
or hear me out, for a 220 setup. So let's see what these are labeled. So we got one here. This is okay. So here's COM. So it's a common one. And then this is here. Look at So it's for the voltage. So 120 common. This probably going to say 220. Want to bet? Yep, 220. So this is smarter than what Bamboo does because you can actually get quicker heating on 110. Whereas Bamboo, if you're on 110, your bed just takes forever to heat. So this is actually really well designed.
That's
cool.
is smart. For a second there, I thought it was ground at first, but the ground is on the far left.
So it's basically where it injects the power into the silicone heater. On your 220, it's usually going to be a longer length of wire, so the resistance is higher, and then the 110 will inject it typically in the center of the coil. So you have your common. Yeah, no, that's cool. I really like that actually. And like everything's all terminated nicely. Like Creality this is so weird looking at a nicely built Creality machine.
Well
Like
thought out, yeah.
There's ferrules on everything. Like the crimp terminals are nice. We got the auto switching power supply in here. Yeah, this says PE Con. I'm assuming that's just Earth.
Like they even have
the bed's even grounded too. Do you see these are cloth covered wires too?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did a good job on this.
Springs on the belting.
So I'm assuming, I'm assuming then that this board is more complicated, so it can handle that detection if it's on 110 versus based on what voltage is coming in. And then the power supply on here, I can't see a brand on it. It's probably obscured. Let me see if I can take it off because it looks like it's 2 screws to hold this in. One up here. One down here. Is that it? Yep. That's
Easy.
3 now. Let's see. Oh, it's it's one of their knockoff, or the company that's making the knockoff, the CECL. I've seen this. They've had these in the under 5
But it
courses.
is
They're
auto
okay.
switcher.
Yeah, it is an auto switcher. There's no switch on here. Yeah, input is 110 to 240. It's a 24 volt. It's a 150 watt 24 volt one. It feels fairly hefty, so this might actually be a decent unit. There's no fan in here though.
Yeah, it does look pretty big for a 150 watt.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully it'll last a while. The funny thing is, look at, you can see here
Oh,
they
you're
have,
not.
well,
You're
there's,
too
see
out.
these here. There's more. There's 2 more of these up top here for like different power
Different.
supply versions.
Huh.
Yeah, a couple different mounting points. Yeah, yeah. So they got an auto switcher in here. It feels pretty well built. I'll take this over the Changling brand though.
Yeah.
Like the Changling, those were horrible. Those were like what the CR10s would come with, and they would die all the time. And they would usually take other things with them when they died. That was the main issue.
The fun part.
Yeah. Oh, hey, your power supply died, and so did your control board and your screen, and everything else got fried because when it died, it decided to just surge all the DC lines and oopsie poopsie. No, everything's all nicely turned. We even got a ground here. We even got a ground wire going right to the chassis too. These are silicone. These are silicone. These are all silicone wires. Like, build quality on this is good. No, I like it. This is slick though. To have actual switching between the 220 and the 110, like this is really slick. Now the thing I'm wondering why is why they have 4 wires going to this. And I'm wondering if the board in the firmware handles some sort of switching here, because typically you would only need 2 wires to switch a bed on
Yeah,
and off.
grounded signal.
Unless here's the other thing, because this terminal is actually labeled AC bed. I'm wondering if the main board provides power to this one to handle the switching and the logic.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean everything's build quality on this is really nice. I'm impressed. They've definitely been getting their shit together, which is nice to see. It's nice to buy a printer and not open it up and be like, oh dear God, this thing looks like dog shit, you know. But yeah, the board though is basically the same board as the K1 and the K1 Mac, or K1 and the K1C. The difference is the Ethernet is actually populated. So it still has Wi-Fi, obviously, but if you look, it's the same board as the K1 and the K1C, except we actually have the Ethernet jack here, and this is just an extension. So the port on the back of the printer is just a Ethernet extension to go from here all the way down to the back of the machine. So this is just a little Ethernet extension to go to there, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, you got the AC bed here. This here normally, this heat here, this is another MOSFET that is actually populated right here. So you can see here, it has a spot for the bed to be populated for the DC bed, which we do see on the K1 and the K1C. So you can see there'd be a big MOSFET here, and then there'd be another terminal here. We do have another heater output right here.
Learning.
Huh?
Oh, they're actually learning. They have ferrules.
So this board is capable of running a printer without a daughter board, it looks like, because we can have one more stepper driver here. So you could have an E driver here for, XYZ. You can have your hot end output here. You have your bed output here, hot end output here. So this board would be capable of driving a printer on its own without any daughter boards. So
Jay, he did not destroy the door.
I did not destroy the door. No, I did not. But yeah, you can see here they even label this as RS-232. So this is a serial cable going up to one of the daughter boards. This one is probably one as well. Yes, it is. So they did label. So 232 is RS-232. So that's serial. And then they actually have these labeled as USB on the side here. USB J5, J8, which one goes over to here. One goes up to the camera. Where does the other one go to? Because there's another one here. There might be two. There might be another. There might be two serial lines going to the toolhead, unless it's a USB going to the toolhead. Take a closer look at the toolhead. Maybe the LiDAR is using USB.
Oh, the LiDAR or the there might be one in the bed for a pressure sensor.
No, there definitely is an MCU in there, but I'm pretty sure that's a serial connection. All right. Oh, so far so good. Come on. I said it's nice. It's nice seeing these printers like not.
Oh, Justin says the
being
USB
horrible.
input on the printer itself.
No, I know there's one on the front. The camera uses USB. There's 3 USB connections going to that control board. So we know one goes to the front port. We know one goes to the camera. There are 2 cables, 2 thick 4-conductor shielded cables going to the toolhead. So I'm willing to bet one of those is probably a USB line for the toolhead, or maybe another RS-232. But it was labeled US. All 3 of those on the right side here on the board were labeled USB, and they had the color coding with the black, red, green, white that your typical USB connections will use. So let me get these back on here. I'm going to dig into the toolhead a little bit. The toolheads actually aren't that hard to take apart on these machines.
No, from what I see in the CAD, it should just be what, 2 screws.
Yeah. So unless it's two RS-232s, and they just didn't label as such. So this is what I'm saying. So the LiDAR here has a little 5-pin that just unplugs.
Can't really see behind the cable.
Yeah, so it just has a little 5-pin that unplugs here from the side, and then this module just unbolts. But there are 2. I can get this better.
Yeah, isn't there 2 daughter boards in it?
There's 2 cables going in here on the K1 and the K1C. There's only 1 cable. Let me see here. How do we get the? I think the AI comes off. I'm going to take this off anyways. So there's 2 screws here. The LiDAR. Oh no. We're going to get rid of the LiDAR because we don't care. It's just one more thing to be on here and get in the way.
Now the printer yells at you every time you turn it on. Where's my LiDAR?
I mean, until I root it. So there's a LiDAR module. Oh, the camera actually points straight down. So there's a camera. That's a LED. There's a laser. So there's a LED camera. I'm willing to bet this is probably a USB connection. That's probably what that second one is for. So I think they use the same toolhead board on the K1 and the K1 Max.
Yeah, blank.
It's just what?
2 board sandwich inside the toolhead. That's what it looked like in the CAD, but they're not in the CAD.
No, the K1 had 2 sandwich. What I'm saying is, I think on the K1 and the K1C, I don't think they have that second cable run because that second cable is for the LiDAR. Because there's an RS-232 connection for the toolhead board. But I think we're going to find out. I want to take this LiDAR bracket off here, though. And these are not regular M3 screws. They're actually coarse thread for the bracket. But now that's off. So now it's basically just like our K1 tool heads. And you should be able to get in here by taking, I think there's 1 on this side and 2 on the other, if memory serves correct. Or maybe it's just 1 on each side.
Could be 1 on each side and 2 on the top.
I don't think there's two. I don't think there's two on top because there's little retaining pins here. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
pins.
Yeah, there's little retaining pins. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna disconnect the fan here. Yeah, so that other one is for the LiDAR. So that's why there's two cables going to the tool head here. So they use the same board on both printers, but this thick one here, this is the RS232. And you can see the GigaDevice CPU on there. So this is the one that's present on the K1 and the K1C. This other one right here, this secondary one, this has got to be for the LiDAR then. So this probably just passes through to the side connector. So this is the same board that they use in the K1 and the K1C. It's just this is not ran. So I'm wondering if when you get the K1 LiDAR kit, if they give you this second wire to run up to the tool head. Because if you go back and look at our K1 and K1C videos, you'll see there's only one wire going through this cable chain. There's not two. And you can see this one comes down to here, which is on the K1 and K1C, and this one comes down to here, which I'm willing to bet if I probe those pins out, goes to the LiDAR connection. Because this tool head board looks the same sandwich design. So there's two PCBs. You can see them right here. One PCB, two. The fan is right back there to cool the heat breakdown. Yeah, so basically the same setup.
Sandwiches.
Yeah, so that makes sense why it's got that second cable. I wonder if I can take apart this LiDAR module without destroying it. I'm curious to see what's inside here, because this is the LiDAR module itself. I would assume that this is going to be USB because there's a camera in here. Why would it not use USB? You follow me?
Yeah. If anything, I would keep it on just for if you can root it and use it as like a first layer cam.
You probably can. I don't see why not. This should just be basically a camera. I'm trying to get the screw out of here. I'm curious to see what's inside this module.
It's probably all epoxied and potted in.
We'll find out.
Would not be surprised in the slightest.
Oh, there's heat sets behind the AI LiDAR sticker. Oh, hang on. Haha, I got it open. And it is not potted in here. Yeah, look, there's even a little connector on here too. Yeah, this has got to be USB. ES2209 main. What it says on here. Yeah, this is a little camera module. So this has got to be USB. Yep, this is USB. Ground, data plus, data minus 5 volt. You can see it right here. So that's what it is. That's why there's USB going to the tool head. So if you look here, do you see the ground, GND, D plus,
yeah,
D minus 5 volt? So that's what that USB is for. It's for the LiDAR. That's it.
easy.
Well, that makes sense why there's a USB going to the tool head on this. Because it's not present. So that means if you got this LiDAR module and you only have this module, if I put this on and plug this into the tool head board, even though the connector's there for this, it won't do anything because this needs a USB connection. So there's an RS232 and a USB going to the tool head on the K1 Max. And the USB is for this module right here. Which makes sense because it's driving a camera. Now, the funny thing is I could put a USB end on here and plug this into my computer and it just show up as a USB camera. I might not be able to drive the laser, or maybe the laser just comes on. I'm not sure, but
it's just controlled by
it's
like
definitely this is definitely a USB device. So, all right, let's just take a look here. Look at that little tri-duct design there. Got a little 4010 PWM, 24 volt. There's a basic brushless fan. It's probably not ball bearings. Creality, we know Creality doesn't like spending money on good fans. So, but it is a PWM.
I don't know. They've done quite a bit with this one.
Yeah, there's a little opening here too. I wonder if they have this so it clears the cables. You see this? It's like a little
I just
notch out.
notched it out.
Unless it's for a little bit more airflow. It's either for air. It's going to be either for airflow or clearance.
I think it's for clearance.
Yeah, that's what I would be leaning towards. But no, it's a good. I mean, it's nice.
So yay,
It's
we
as
would
good
have
as
to
the
get
K1 and the
OEM.
K1C. Huh?
We would have to get OEM fans to replace it if it's
Correct. Or like what we did with the bamboos, we'd have to have fans custom made. Yeah. No, it
Hey,
looks.
can you just hack out part of the back for us? They're like, what? Why?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So yeah, this little LiDAR thing is just a USB camera with a laser module. And you can actually see that it is a laser module in there. There's actually a lens there. You see a lens in there. And then I'm assuming this is just a LED for lighting. And there's a little camera there. But it's just basically like a little camera with a laser and a light. That's all this little guy is. It's all done in software then. Which is probably why it needs a cloud, because there's no way in hell that this crappy processor on this board can do any sort of AI processing. It's basically just enough to run the printer. So, but does anybody have any other questions before we go? All in all, like, I mean, my thoughts on this, it's what I expected, which is a larger K1, and I like my K1. I like the K1C. So if you guys are looking for a good one, I would not pay more than $900 for it. That should be right around what they're going. It's a normal price. Micro Center sometimes has deals on them for $7.99. I think that's what we paid for ours. But I would expect to see them coming down in price once the K2 series comes out, which is sometime in September. We did pre-order the K2 just so we have it. We'll be one of the first people to get that. Hopefully their pre-order process goes a lot better than Soval's. Hey, Tori, have you gotten your enclosure yet?
I emailed them this morning.
Have you gotten your enclosure yet, Tori? Because we're now getting towards the end of June.
It's been 70 days since release now.
Oh God. Let's see. Jim, if you got to remove the extruder and clog it, don't unplug the cable. It's a pain to plug the motor back in. Just unmount it and take out the 2 screws for extruder. Yeah, those little motor plugs are a pain in the ass.
Hey, other Tim, how's it going?
The other Tim, Canadian Tim, what's up? What are your thoughts on lubing the X-axis? On this one, it should be lubed because it's the brass bushings. So it comes lubed from the factory. I mean, it's your printer. Do whatever you guys want, but I keep it lubed. Let's see. I'm just going through the chat here. Someone said the screen. Oh, when they were talking about the USB. Yeah. Well, we know that extra USB cable going into LEDs for the LiDAR. So Gareth is saying Soval is saying early July for the UK.
Early July for the UK. Yeah, every time I email them, they give me a new date. So
wait, hold up. This is now not the first time I've heard about Best Buy having 3D printers. Has Best Buy been selling 3D printers? Like, did they do it for a little bit?
I hardly ever go into Best Buy.
I know I heard they had the Anchor Makes. I just searched 3D printer on a site. They have some of the Anchor Makes. But did they have Crealities? Yeah, if you search 3D printer, there's like some Anchor Make filament, some nozzles, and some MakerBot.
That's what I'm getting. Let me see what's in the local store.
How did I miss that? I mean, I have their app on my phone and stuff. They missed an opportunity because I would have just gone to Best Buy, pick one of this up. Micro Center is over an hour from me.
Store.
The order shipped it to me for free. They told me they're now a Creality dealer. They do not. Oh, so they're drop shipping them. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can get
I wonder if they're
5C.
Best Buy Canada sells a lot of different ones. It's interesting. Man, can you imagine? God, best Geek Squad trying to fix printers. They can barely fix computers.
Oh gosh.
Your printer has a virus. We need to do a $99 Geek Squad removal on the virus for your printer. Although printers are network connected, so they technically could get viruses. How was the K1 Max? It sucked? No, I like it. I give it a thumbs up. It's what I wanted, which was a bigger K1 or K1C. Bigger K1 series printer. It's fully enclosed. It's fast. I'm gonna root it because you guys know I don't like running the stock software. But no, it's good. If you guys are looking for a larger one, keep an eye out because they probably should be putting them on sale once the K2s get closer to launch. Or maybe they're going to make. Here's the thing: do you guys think they're going to keep making the K1s when the K2 is out? Because the K2 Plus is coming out first. I'm going to assume they're going to have a K2. But when is that going to
They
be?
still do. Don't they still sell the original Enders, just like the Pros?
Do they? I haven't checked.
Yeah, Ender 3 168.
Oh, I totally forgot that USPS has today off because they get all the bullshit holidays off.
Yep,
No
Ender 3
mail.
3 printer. So they're still making the OG Ender 3, which is the 422 board. So I wouldn't be surprised if they keep selling them.
Yeah, he said they can pick up the Anchor Make. I'm not. You remember when the Anchor Make came out and everybody was like excited about it? And then Bamboo came in and was like, hold my beer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a Bamboo over an
Anchor Make. They got like a few reviewers printers, and then it's been just dead silent. Just like once in a while they're mentioned, like, oh yeah, I had that printer, but nothing like, oh yeah, they're amazing, they're great, like, go get one. Nope.
Sorry, we just got a bunch of packages dropped off. The UPS guy didn't listen to the fact that it's building 2, and they dropped them off at the front door instead of
Of
at
course.
our second building. Oh my god! All right. I mean, all in all, it's what I expected, which is good. I do like the build quality. I do like the attention to detail on the bed. Actually, I'm curious to see. Let me see how quick this bed heats up.
How thick is it?
Let me test that because it's DC or AC bed. I'm curious to see how fast it heats up. Hopefully, it shouldn't complain. We'll see if it bitches because I have the cover off. We're gonna see if it complains. Let's see.
That's not the screen.
No, that's fine. We'll do that. I'm just curious because I have the front cover off. I just want to see if it will bitch because you can see here I have because the cover is off. There we go. There's the tool headboard. It is naked. The bed, it actually is. There's actually a thick aluminum plate under here and a silicone heater.
Oh.
There's actually a thick aluminum plate. Like it's like the
There you
same
go.
size as their standard beds. So it's pretty chunky, which is
That's
good.
good.
All right, I'm curious to see. I want to see. Actually, you guys have to wait for it to boot a second. I'm going to see how much power this thing pulls.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy another Bamboo either.
Let me see. I might have a little
3D
extension cord I can put
experiments.
this
Or
on.
are you going to build a Ender 3 NG? I have been actually looking at parts and the printables page for it, so possibly I'll build that on stream sometime.
All right, hang on. I'm going to put this on a kilowatt to see how much power this thing draws because it says up to 1,000 watts, and it says that on the back too.
I've been looking at projects to do on stream, like the deposition sound, speakers, NG. What else was I looking at? I'll be doing the enclosure kit whenever it arrives for the Solvo. I'll install that on stream.
Let's see here. See how much power this sucker takes.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
rated at 1,000 watts.
you can tell the grid's getting pretty strained here because usually we're at 120. We're at 115 right now because it's like almost 100 degrees here and 1,000% humidity. All right,
86 here right now.
so let's
And my
see how
AC
much
set to 70.
you must like paying the electric company a lot of money. It is still 78 in my garage here, and I have this thing. I have it on like full. It has a boost mode. It's a split unit, and it's okay in here. All right,
Yeah, my
let's see.
living room is at 70.
I'm gonna tell the bed to heat. Let's go to 100. Let's see if it'll hit 100. Holy shit!
650 watt.
That's okay. So it's still a low enough draw that it's not going to kill your battery up, even on the cheaper ones.
Unlike the
So
oval, which will 100% throw an error when you try to plug it into a battery backup. Learn that
yeah,
from
because
experience.
it pulls so much power. Yeah, you guys, hang on. Let me make this bigger here, so you guys can see the.
That's about what
You can see the
my
bed.
Trident pulls. No, we can't. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so we're at like 654. The bed heats quick. I think this will hit 100, no problem. Just home it. Should be able to home with no issue with the cover off.
650.
Yeah, I want to see what it pulls when like all the motors are going. So like the bed's obviously heating right now. I wonder why they put 1,000 watts on there. Unless when it's on 220, they have it
I
set
was
up to
about to
pull more
say,
current.
yeah. Replace the hot end, sure, remove all the glue from the thermistor connectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like breakout boards. Like they look nice, but servicing printers with breakout boards, there's way more stuff for you guys to mess up, including someone like me. Like, all right, so I'm gonna have the bed heating. I got the bed and the hot end going.
If it's OEM, if you're building your own printer, they're not as bad. Like I have the LDO Nighthawk on my Trident behind me, and I like it so far. It gets warm though. It's the only thing I don't like. But it made it a lot easier because I have one wire going back to the board instead of a dozen.
Yeah, so this printer is gonna basically you're gonna need to have at least a 1,300 or up rated UPS. I mean, like even the 1,500 ones that you can get, like we don't have any more of those nice 1,100 ones that were 900 plus watts of capacity. But basically, if you're gonna have this on a battery backup, it's gonna be the only machine on that battery backup for the most part. Now it will drop down once the bed's at temperature, which we're at 88 already. I didn't think about that. Like this, that's awesome. So this is going to be a really good ABS machine. And it feels like they stopped using
Especially
really
for that
crappy magnets
size.
on here. Yeah. Yeah, it feels like they stopped using crappy magnets on here because like the bed's at 92 and the magnet actually is holding the plate down. And if you guys remember the early Creality machines, you heat that bed up and that magnet would go to shit. Look, it is dropping down. It's dropping the wattage down. So we're starting to get close to temp. It's kind of leveling it off. It's at 95 right now. They're probably doing PID on the bed.
Well, you can check if you can look at the config.
Yeah, they need to. The PID definitely needs to be adjusted because, like, you see the ramp here. This is the bed heating up. It went really, or not the bed heating up. That was a hot end. But the bed heating up, and now it's kind of plateauing, and you can tell it's lowering how much current's going to the bed a little prematurely because you can see the wattage dropping down here. So. Yeah, no, I like it. I like how they did the bed in terms of the AC power setup. It's really slick.
Yeah, that was pretty slick. a lot more thought went into it.
Yeah, it'll hit 100. It definitely can benefit from some tuning because you see how it's like it's just sitting there. Like I told it to go to 100, and it's like, it's close enough. That's a software thing that can easily be redone. Yeah. No, that's slick. I like how they did this printer. I'm glad that they have a nice beefy bed on here that actually can push some wattage to it, because when you have these big beds, if you guys remember the CR10 days, it would get to 100, but dear God, it'd take like 15 minutes.
Oh, I remember. I had the S4. It was forever to get
Oh,
that.
the S4 was horrible. That was a 12-volt bed that you're lucky if you got 60C out of it.
No, I could not do anything more than 60. It would throw an error even after I adjusted stuff and overvolted the power supply.
No, it will not. Yeah, no, you're not getting past 60 on that 400 something bed. And then I had one that Tiny Machines made that pulled like 800 watts at 12 volts, which you had to run like freaking 10 gauge wire to.
After
and even that was hard.
It's like 3 minutes to get to 100. When it was like 15 to 20 to get to 60 on the stock bed.
Yeah.
I could get it to go higher if I did it in stages.
Yes.
Just like bumped it by 5 degrees every time and let it sit there for a minute.
It was a pain.
Time out. Yeah. Good times.
So I mean, yeah, I like this bed. I mean, the K1 and the K1C beds heat up quick. Those are DC. This is an AC bed, but I really like the implementation they did on here. The way they did it is how Bamboo should have done it. Because if you guys don't know, on the Bamboo printers, on all of them, if you're in the US or Canada where you're on the 115, like 110, 115, 120 standard, right? You are not getting the full potential of how quickly the bed will heat, because the beds are actually designed to run, the heaters in them are designed to run on 220. And when you have the voltage, you're basically having the wattage. It's not exactly half, but you're basically having the wattage. So yes, the beds will get up to temp, but they will take a hell of a lot longer to get up to temp. Whereas while Creality did this on the K1 Plus here, or K1 Plus, the K1 Max, they have it so it can switch between where it's injecting power into the silicone heater, so that on 110 you still get a quick heating bed, and then also on 220 you still get a quick heating bed. And the reason they do that is if you had a bed spec'd out for 110 and you send it to a country with 220 or 240, it's going to heat up way too quick and burn itself up. Does that make sense? Because you're basically going to be like, let's just get a rough calculation here. So let's say it's like a 600 watt heater here. I'll just do
that's what it looks like it is.
I'm just going to do a quick thing here. I love Ohm's law calculator. All right, here. So to give you an idea why this matters and why it's smart that they did this the way they did. So let's say I'm putting in 115, right? We know we have about 600 watts going to the bed. Okay. So the resistance on that bed here is probably right around 22 ohms. Okay. Now, let's say we know that it's 22 ohms. Let's say they didn't have that auto switching. If you went and put that on like a 230 circuit, it's over double. It would be pulling 10 amps and it'd be putting 2,400 watts into a heater that was designed to 600. So when you change the injection point of where the power is coming in, I wonder if I can doodle this really quickly. Let's get paint. Let's see here. Let me try sharing this. Hang on. Share screen, window, paint. So, and this is just going to be a rough doodle. So let's say we have our heaters. So we have like we have our 3 connection points here. Okay. And this is, I'm trying to think of how to do this. So we have like the resistive elements here, and then they connect through here, Okay. Let's say we read from this point to this point, and we're getting like 20 ohms. Let's just stick with round numbers. So if we measure from here, so I have like to this one, we'll have 20 ohms of resistance. Okay. So because it's going across this whole heating element, right? Nothing's happening here on this terminal. But if we measure from here to here, or here to here, you're only getting 10 ohms of resistance. So it's less resistance, right? So what we can do then is we can have, so there's that common wire is probably connected to one of these. I'd have to look at it, but like just breaking this down, if you then on a 220, you inject on these two outer ones here, you're going to have 20 ohms of resistance, okay? If you inject the 110 here, here, and here, you're going to get the full heat because the 110's coming into this center point and then also coming in here and here. So you'd have like your neutral here, and you have line going in here, line going in here. You have 10 watts of resistance between this point and this point, 10 watts between this point and this point, then you're getting more heat. Whereas if you injected the 110 at these outer two ones, which is like what bamboo does, you're going to get that higher resistance, which then means lower heat output. Does that make sense? And this isn't perfect, but this is just kind of give you guys an idea of why having this bed where it does have the multiple points that power can go into it based on what voltage is coming into the printer, why it's a good thing, especially for people in the US and Canada that are on the 110 standard versus people that are over on the, the 220, 230, whatever, the 200 plus volt standard. Does that make sense? This is why it's a better implementation than what you see on like bamboo. But the other thing is too, while this bed can be used on multiple voltages, the bamboo ones, if they only spec out for 110, they would have to make sure they don't ship a 110 spec printer because of the bed to a 220 country or 200 plus volt country, because then it's going to overdraw and burn the bed up. So the safe way is to do what they did in terms of bamboo, which is just spec it out for the 200 plus volt and then send everybody the same thing. And then if you're on 110, tough shit, you're getting a slower heat in bed than people who aren't on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, all right, I think that wraps it up. I just like the other K series, I like the machine.
Solid printer.
If you're looking for a big machine, it's hard to pass it up. It's a lot of printer for the money. It's a fully enclosed 300 by 300 by 300, like for under $1,000. You can't really argue with that. Like a couple of years ago, you tell me, oh, you can get a fully enclosed machine that's this build size, that's a Core XY for under $1,000. I would have laughed at you. But here we are.
Isn't the K2 Max is going to be 350?
Yes, I would assume they're probably going to do a similar setup on that one as this, and we'll find out because we did pre-order that machine. But
8 months when they finally ship it.
I have faith in Creality to ship on time, unlike Solval. I will probably not ever pre-order another Solval printer. I'm pulling up Cloudbot here.
It's kind of biting me.
I'm going to do a simple giveaway here. Let's see here. And we're going to do here value minutes. We're going to do 2 minutes. We're going to do a $50 TH3D gift card. How's that? I'm going to go ahead and start that giveaway here.
For anybody who stuck around to the end.
I know, right? We got only 36 people watching, so
we're at 60 or 70 for a while.
I'm pretty sure I asked Kristen to bring the baby in, but I'm pretty sure they're both sleeping, so I don't want to wake them up. Because we've both been up and down with the child.
Oh, of course.
There we go. Let's see. I'm just doing a gift card, so that way if you're in the US, outside of the US, it doesn't matter.
That way you can pick whatever you like.
Yep. I spilled on myself.
It won't be the only thing spilled on you tonight.
I know, right? Yeah, literally, like not even an hour out of the womb, Olivia peed on me because she literally was fresh out, and they just had her wrapped up in a swaddle, and I was holding her on my lap, and I felt my leg getting very warm. That's okay. Krista got pooped on last night. It was bad. It's so bad.
It's gonna happen.
I know. My grandma always used to remind me that when I was little, I peed on her while she was changing my diaper. Hi, Kami. I don't think I have anything for the dogs in here. I got to restock. Here we go. Can you tell? Can you tell who's like my little shadow? These dogs are like, they're like Velcro.
That's
You know, Remo's my boy, but this dog is like super attached to me. Don't know why. He was supposed to be Krista's dog.
Mac, I do not have any Hydra mods. I have dual Z's on both my Mercury ones. Are the
Let's
dogs
go
related?
ahead. I'm gonna resume entries a little bit. Let you guys get a
There
little
have
more
been
time
some
to
cute
enter.
pictures of the dogs and the baby. 3D experiment.
Yeah, Remo is very protective of her already, which I was shocked. Like I know the dogs get like that. Having German Shepherds, it's like in their DNA to protect their family. But he watches that. He sleeps next to her bassinet. When as soon as she makes any sound, he gets up and like checks on her. It's like really cute. Yeah, he's being a good boy. He's that girl is gonna have literally her own personal protection dog. And then there's Comet, who's just the fun doofus. Comet, are you a doofus? Yeah. Remo, come here. Come here. Come on. Comet, let Remo come here. Come up. Remo's like, I'm booting up. Come on, up. Come on. Come on, lazy butt. There we go. There's my break. But yeah. He's already being a good big dog brother. Yeah. Yeah. He's a good boy. I love this dog. I love them both. He's my baby. Yeah. Yeah. But he's also pretty protective of Krista too. He keeps an eye on her. Like if she was going for a walk with the baby and took Remo with, I would not worry about them. Yeah, he protects his family. He's a good boy. I don't know if Comet would. Comet's kind of like very laid back and happy go lucky. So, all right, I'm gonna close the giveaway here. We got 18 entries, so your chances of winning are pretty high. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. I'm gonna close the entries here. And we're gonna go ahead and pick the winner. You guys ready? Remo Sport and yeah, Remo and Comet both have taxi pup collars. I love those collars. All right, let's see. Big Bad Joe. Big Bad Joe here.
Didn't you just win on another
stream?
stream? Big and
I don't
Bad
think
Joe.
Big and Bad Joe did.
Not ours, but I think he was in another one of the
really
streams and won the other day. What stream did you win?
Wait, he said congrats to himself. Wait, I'm so confused. Nice. So if you're an existing customer, you can put your order number in chat. If not, send us a ticket. Like go to our website, hit contact us at the top, and then send us like a screenshot of like you're on YouTube. So just like little menu, just click the little menu and send us a screenshot of that just to verify your identity. That's it. And then we'll send you
Nice try,
a gift
3D,
card.
3D experiments. Nice try.
I see him posting one of his order numbers in there.
Order.
And wait to use that gift card because I'm about to send, after we get off the stream here, I'm going to send an email out that'll be 15% off any in-stock filaments. So it's going to be, Tor wrote up a nice one talking about Orca Slicer versus Bamboo Studio, and there's going to be a little 15% discount code in there. So if you guys are thinking about picking up some filament, you can get 15% off any Polymaker or TH3 filaments that we have in stock. All right. I think that's about it. We do have our stream coming up on Friday, like we always do. We missed last week because we were in the hospital, so I think that was a legitimate reason to miss last week's stream. But we'll be having one on Friday, so make sure you guys check that out. That'll be at 5 p.m. Central. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I hope you guys enjoyed this little walkthrough of the K1 Max. Again, I like it. It's basically a bigger K1, which is what I was expecting, and I love my K1s. So I will talk to you guys later. Tor, do you got anything else to add before we wrap up?
Nope, I'm just waiting for Big and Bad to drop a order number. If
Yeah, I
not,
don't see him
send
there.
us a ticket and I'll make it in the morning.
Yeah. I do see your Pleco hanging out in the back there. He's very ominous. You can just see his big silhouette plastered on the back of the tank there. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you later. As always, happy printing. Let's see if it actually ends the stream today. It's happened multiple times now, hasn't it?
Mhm.
We're so paranoid. It's like, is it actually gone? We'll find out. Bye-bye now.